This is the presentation for the 28th Sunday of Ordinary Time for the Children's Liturgy, Year C. And it is the event in the Bible that Jesus heals 10 lepers and only one comes back to give him thanks. The points here for the catechist to review are as follows. Jesus shows mercy and heals people who ask for his help. Jesus showed us that God wants us to thank him for the kindness that he shows us. So the materials you need, you can see in front here, are figures selected from the Gospel characters, and if you like, some of the Cenacle characters. And in particular, you would include the leper. Here's the leper. Now, there's only one leper in our set, obviously. So there will not be 10, but at least one can get a bit of an idea of how the lepers were clothed and how they had to cover their wounds. You need the magnet map of Israel. And there you see the magnets are marking the three regions we're talking about here: Galilee, Samaria, and Judea. And lastly, it's a good idea to have some images, because obviously we don't have 10 lepers, we only have the one, and he's the one that comes back to give the thanks, obviously. But have some images to actually give the idea of the 10 lepers being healed by Jesus. Now, I've chosen this particular background, by the way, and you can use this one, but there is another one that could be used, and that is a street in the area of the town, or just on the outskirts of the town. Along the sides of the road there are some sick and ill people, and you could use that as a background as well. So this is how the presentation would go. Today we can learn some things about prayer in the Gospel reading of today's Mass. Now, Jesus performed a miracle, and it was between Galilee and Samaria. Here's Galilee, and Jesus was coming from here through to the region of Samaria, and he was probably within Samaria when he was performing this miracle. There are some words that are good to know and understand. A leper. A leper is a person who has leprosy. Leprosy is an infectious disease that causes severe disfiguring of the skin and sores and nerve damage in the arms and in the legs and on the face. Then you have priests. Priests, in this case, in Jesus' time, they were Jewish priests. If a leper was made clean for some reason, it was a custom for the cured person to go to the priest and to show that he was cured, and then he could return to live with his family and within his community. Apart from being cured, he had to stay well away and just stay with other lepers. Samaria. It's the region in Israel between Galilee and Judea. So here we have the region of Galilee. There's the magnet for it. The region of Samaria. There's the region for it. And we also have the region, this big green region here, and all of that is Judea. And then Galilee, of course, is the region in the north of Israel where Jesus grew up, actually. So I'm going to light my candle. On the way to Jerusalem, he was passing along between Samaria and Galilee. He was met by 10 lepers who stood at a distance and lifted up their voices and said, "Jesus, Master, have mercy on us." When he saw them, he said to them, "Go and show yourselves to the priests." And as they went, they were cleansed. Then one of them, when he saw he was healed, hurried back, praising God with a loud voice, and he fell on his face at Jesus' feet, giving him thanks. Now, he was a Samaritan. Then Jesus said, "Were not 10 cleansed? Where are the 9? Was no one found to return and give praise to God except this foreigner?" And he said to him, "Rise up and go your way. Your faith has made you well." I'm going to put out the candle now. There are really interesting things to think about here, because Jesus performed the miracle for all 10. Let's keep that in mind. And then he was pleased to see one foreigner, a Samaritan, who was not considered to be a Jew, came back to give thanks as well. So I wonder why the lepers always stood at a distance. And here's something to really think about. I wonder why Jesus healed all of them, even if 9 of them did not come back to give him thanks. I wonder if the one who came back to give thanks would gain more, perhaps, than the others in some way. And lastly, I wonder what we can learn about the way to pray from this miracle.